How's it going, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. Let's get into it. This week, Ava got a little bit of justice for herself by having Spencer arrested. He had gone over to Windermere to look for his father, and he ran into Trina and Ava, and he made it very clear to Ava that he felt no remorse for anything that he did to her, which obviously upset Trina. Ava leaves the room to give them a moment to talk, and Spencer tries to plead his case. He apologizes, and he compliments Trina, you know, doing all the typical Spencer things, and Trina wasn't having it because she can't believe anything he says, and she storms out. Once Ava returns to the room, the two of them exchange some pretty heated words. It's very obvious that Spencer still holds a grudge over the fact that Ava chose her face over getting justice for his father. I gotta hand it to Nicholas Chavez, who plays Spencer. He can hold his own with a powerhouse like Maura West. That is not an easy task. Dude is killing it. Once the argument was finished, in walks the cops to arrest the boy, and yes, I do think he deserves it, but with that being said, can they really arrest Spencer on Ava's words that he admitted he was a stalker? Not me trying to find realism on General Hospital. Why do I do this to myself? Nicholas wasn't thrilled that Ava got Spencer arrested, but he understood it. However, he did just get back from a visit with Alexis, who condemned him for kicking him out and cutting him off. She said that he needs to work on his relationship with his son, and that's kind of hard to do when Spencer is behind bars. But hey, who knows? Nicholas could be in a jail cell right next to Spencer if Sean has anything to say about it. You know, when he finds out that Nicholas got Hayden shot. I mean, this would have happened a lot quicker if the writers remembered that half the town already knew this, but I'm gonna stop myself there so that I don't get pissed off and I can continue with this show very merrily. Let's talk about Esme. This girl is so twisted. I find it hilarious that she is so confident in her ability to lie, but no one buys it. Okay, Cameron kinda buys it. Spencer, I guess, does, but I think he's just stoked that he has a girlfriend. Like, you can tell that he senses that there's something cold about her, but he just doesn't care. But like, did you see everyone else's faces when they were dealing with her this week? Jocelyn had this look on her face when Esme was trying to convince her to be there for Spencer. Like, bitch, are you serious? And then when she goes to the PCPD and gets questioned by Chase, Chase just looks like he's having mad flashbacks about Nell. He's just like, not this again, but I'm not falling for it this time though. And then when she goes over to Windermere to try and beg Nicholas to help Spencer out, Kevin happened to be there, and he's just looking at her, talking to Nicholas, and you can just see this look on his face like, oh my god. She's literally a psychopath. And honestly, who would know better than Kevin Collins when your brother is Ryan Chamberlain? Just wait until he finds out that she's got an internship at Springridge where he is. Ava visited Spencer at the PCPD as well and tried to strike a deal with him to help him out, but he refused her help, so he's stuck in there for a bit. Well, that reminds me, there was a throwaway line when Esme was at the PCPD where she, I guess, tried to call Scott Baldwin as a lawyer, and he laughed in her face and hung up on her. Classic Scotty helping out Ava. Alright, we spent enough time talking about that mess. Now let's talk about another one. We got Sonny and Carly, Jason and Carly, Nina and Sonny Mike, and Jason and Britt. So several messes into one huge mess. Carly admitted to Britt that she lied about how she and Jason got together in an attempt to try and get Britt back together with Jason. Not that Britt actually believed that's how they got together in the first place, but Britt doesn't want to be second fiddle to Carly in a relationship with Jason anyway. More power to you, sis. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really love Jason and Britt. Y'all know I did. But I love that Britt is a strong woman that doesn't want to be second to anybody in a relationship. Carly also still wants revenge on Nina, but Jason pulls the reins on her for now. Carly and Jason have other things to worry about, like being honest to Sonny about what their relationship was like before he came back to town. I gotta be honest here, the fact that Jason and Carly suddenly developed feelings again like the day before the wedding seems really forced to me. There was no inkling leading up to the night before the wedding that suggested that they were possibly falling for each other again, and if there was supposed to be, then Steve Burton and Laura Wright did a horrible job at portraying it. To me, this just seems like a forced plot point to give Sonny a little bit of drama for when he returned from the dead. Now, having said that, when Sonny did find out the truth about their relationship, there was very little drama involved. Basically, Sonny paid Nina a visit to lay down some ground rules for her, and Nina wasn't very perceptive to it. In fact, she was very sarcastic about it. Here's the kicker. Do you know who convinced Sonny to go see Nina in the first place? Jasper Jax. He convinced her that maybe he should consider forgiving Nina, and that's kind of why he went there. Not to forgive her, but just to say, there is hope that I could forgive you someday, I guess. And Nina mentions that timing is everything, and then Sonny has a flashback of when he walked in on Jason and Carly in his master bedroom, and he's like, What would have happened if I didn't walk in? So he goes over to Jason and he confronts him about that night. Jason, being Jason, was honest and he said that if he didn't walk in, Carly and him would have had sex in that room that night. He even admitted to Sonny that he was falling in love with Carly again, but that he turned it off the second that Sonny came back alive. Amazingly, when Jason left, Sonny kept his cool. I mean, he did bang the desk a little bit with his fist, but there was no barware flying anywhere. That's growth. Then Sonny goes over to his house and has the same conversation with Carly, and Carly is honest as well. I mean, part of me doesn't really blame him, because if Carly finds out that Nina was having a relationship with Sonny, she is going to kill that woman. Speaking of Sonny and Nina's relationship though, Ava found out from Scotty that Sonny was going by the name Mike in Nixon Falls, and she remembers that Nina was quite smitten with Mike, and so she goes over to Nina's office to confront her about it. For whatever reason, Ava seems to really want Sonny and Nina together, and I'm trying to figure out how it would benefit her. Like, she's really trying to push it hard, and I'm wondering, is she just trying to stick it to Carly even though they were quite amicable the last few months? Is it supposed to benefit Avery in some way? I mean, if Sonny and Nina do get together, I guess that means that Nina can spend time with the girl that she pulled out of Ava's womb and kidnapped. This show just has really messed up people. A lot of the friendships really don't make sense. Sam and Dante arrived there and they exchanged information with the super spies, mainly that Drew is alive and that the plane that Drew was on never actually crashed. Now, as you might recall, Drew is behind that shootout and he doesn't remember any of it, even though he was grazed by a bullet. Liesel comes to the conclusion that he's under mind control again, and she's correct. Peter is controlling him. Victor was pretty pissed to learn that Peter had the power to control people all along, and he was ready to mess him up. I would love to see it, but I feel like General Hospital just doesn't want me happy because Peter is still here. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, Scott and Britt are desperate to find Liesel, so desperate that Scott convinces Britt to actually beg Jason for help. And he agrees to help, and it sounds like the two of them are going to go on a trip again. Let's see how that goes. Will this trip convince Britt to not care about being second banana to Jason Morgan's Carly? Guess we'll find out soon. Ooh guys, Sasha is back on screen. She is back from her maternity leave, and now she has a fake belly underneath her. It's kind of weird to see her like a fake one. You can kind of tell the difference. Sasha's about to give birth any day now, and Gladys is still inserting herself into that little family. Gladys is thrilled to know that Sonny is alive again, even though nobody actually told her and she had to find out from a third party. And of course, she can't help herself but say to Brando that he should be going back to work for Sonny again. She just never learns. Oh my god. I just want to see Sasha and Brando happy. They are the only functional couple at this point. One that y'all actually show on screen. Not Molly and TJ, who we see once every 3 months. Lastly, let's talk about Austin. Remember how I mentioned that Brooklyn seemed to be softening to the idea that Austin was being serious about Leo? Yeah, turns out I was wrong about that. She was just trying to have him get a HIPAA violation so that he would get suspended from the hospital, so that she could use that to her advantage and get him to give away any claim he has to ELQ. Unfortunately for Brooklyn, Olivia and Leo happened to be there when she was telling Britt about it, so that's how Olivia finds out that Austin thinks that Leo has autism, and it almost seems like she genuinely thinks that might be the case herself as well. So you're telling me that all Ned had to do was be honest completely about what Austin seems to think Leo has, and that would have cured everything. She would have just got him help and not give Austin a hard time. Communication is key. Furthermore, Austin refuses to play Brooklyn's game. He is not caring that he got suspended. He is determined to become a Quartermain. Even though realistically, if he does get shares of ELQ in his hands, that doesn't mean that the Quartermains would accept him, so he's really putting himself through hell for, like, nothing. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Stay tuned this Wednesday for another spooky GHMV Reacts, and if you liked this video here, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, I'd really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.